Oh my god. Soseki Natsume. Like, while I was editing the last part, I was thinking, wait, that name sounds familiar too. Have I read that somewhere before? And it wasn't until one of the, a person that I knew, uh, told me that he was based on a real person, on a Japanese writer. I was like, ah, god damn it. Yeah, of course. I was reading about it in like a literature book of analysis and summaries for different kinds of literature stories. And he is the writer of I Am a Cat. I've read a little bit about it, like in the literature book, like a short summary of what the story is about. About a cat who narrates um, the lives of the humans around them, including this owner, the teacher, and it is pretty interesting from what I've heard. Like, I even have like a thing over here that I can read for you guys. Like, this is a page written by somebody, like a not a vlog, but like a blog. There you go. Like they are quoting like something over here. The cat says that, like monkeys, teachers are the perfect target of teasing. Like, the cat is snooty and teases the humans that they see. No, though teachers are not actually kept on chains, they are very effectively shackled by their salaries. They can be teased in perfect safety. They won't resign or use their teeth on their pupils. Had they sufficient spunk to resign, they would not originally have allowed themselves to sink into the slavery of teaching. It is definitely something, but wow, man. Only the other day, I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on white washi! You must be a man of great standing. Oh yes, so I'm often told. And often like to be told, it seems. Alright. So, let's talk about the case at hand, about the accusation against you. If you can help us with this.
Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you're being arrested, Sasuke-san?
I didn't do it. I didn't commit that atrocious murder.
Murder?
Oh, no, it's alright. That's right. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes.
Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker?
I didn't see anyone. What? Not even the victim? If I'd seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here? Okay, so the other person, the one who actually did it, he didn't see them.
Oh dear. This case is becoming rather complicated.
Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's the curse. The curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. So Sasuke-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker.
It's better that we find out more about the case.
Okay, so the victim was stabbed, which kind of makes you think that either our person was actually pretty close to the victim, and it makes you question how Sasuke didn't see this person, or they just threw the knife, just like that. It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Sure, the bookshop wasn't accursed too. Everything is accursed. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman, wearing a green overcoat, she was. And just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a low scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet.
Oh, terrible.
I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. He was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Okay, calm down there, Sasuke. Slightly exaggeration there, perhaps. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. Okay, so you're saying that you have no connection to this person? They'll say it was shameful, I know. To run away like that.
Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours?
Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that. Okay, we shall leave these kinds of fittings aside. Let's focus on the case. I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people. I see. A young woman, unknown to Soseki-san. And at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Didn't anybody pass you? Cause if you just ran after that, there must have been somebody who witnessed you at the scene of the crime, so... Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. I see. No one? Oh, great.
So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it?
What conundrum? The fuck does that mean? What do you mean, Susato-san? What's a conundrum?
Well, if what Soseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I cannot explain. He says that he didn't know the victim, and that there was no one else at the scene.
I guess you're questioning how he was found as a suspect for this, if there was nobody else there to see him do the action, and he didn't know the victim.
Then he apparently fled without having been seen.
I did! But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit? You! What did you just say? I don't think he said anything. Wait, did he say that, Again, everybody reads Ryonosuke's mind here. Nothing. I didn't see anything. Oops. Perhaps I thought that a little loudly. Is this a kind of... Has this ever been used in stories before?
Actually, that's all what's troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually came to be arrested?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sorry?
He didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place?
Okay. I was waiting there to have Soseki stop doing that. Just so that I can continue my idea from before. Like, this thing with people managing to read the protagonist's mind over here. I see it as a running gag, but I wonder if that was ever used, like, in any other stories. It kind of makes me question. It'd be like a comedy thing. Yeah, she's right. Does this mean that every single character, like, outside the protagonist, they are omniscient of what is going on through the protagonist's mind? Are they omniscient of the writer? Or, like, are they breaking the fourth wall here? Well, when you think about it like that, it is a typical breaking the fourth wall running gag here, when you think of it like that. It was him, that accursed great detective. He led the police to me. The great detective? Of all the bad luck. Accursed, a great detective? Could it be... Uh-oh. Shall never forget that man's name as long as I live. with his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brush, big-headed busybody, begone! May you be cursed until the end of your days, Herlock Sholmes! I knew it.
Mr. Sholmes?
Okay. Apparently you do seem to know him. Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. Well, I mean, he is into literature. He must have read The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes as well. It was the morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me. "This is the police! Put the weapon down!" Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard. But I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting dietary discrimination, devils! You clearly had a trying morning yesterday, indeed. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Herlock Sholmes! It's actually just Herlock Sholmes. He's English. I since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London.
Yeah, the great detective is really very well known.
And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce. My whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding man. Me! This week's stooped kitten of a man. I wonder what great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time. Yeah, it kinda makes me question.
Do you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable.
Oh, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in.
Of course you are. That's only natural.
I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me, in impossible English. Fiendish foreign film flammery. Well, we are in England. I can only blame them for questioning you in English. Good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, "Yes, I do," and "I'm fine." The next thing I knew, I was in manacles. And before I knew it, I was thrown in here.
Oh dear. Afraid that's hardly surprising.
I'm fine. He's not fine now. Okay. Miss Naruto, Esquire. Oh. Yeah, you can just call me Naruto. And when we were speaking English, a simple mystery is more than enough. Oh, yes. Alright. Yes. They really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? No doubts whatsoever about it. We're gonna be accepting the case. Well, don't ask, eh? Why? Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour. Ah, a student? I had defended the case in the Old Bailey. Only the one, though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a special case for Ryonosuke to gain his belief and gain his spirit and courage and such to continue. Because that first case, and that was a difficult one. Despite him trying to do all this for Kazuma, it is surely difficult. He does need his spirit back. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. No, no, Ota-san. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. A sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. But that armband, that's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, who do you mean? The lawyers. All the British defense lawyers. They will not defend me.
Goodness. Why do you say that?
For the same reason you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around. And I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. These are indeed difficult times when it comes to that sort of stuff. I heard them openly laughing about me before. In my earshot. We don't need compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And, of course, the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, "Yeah, but that doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway." They're wrong. I study more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about this people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Soseki-san. It's just that... Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can, for the time being. Alright. There you go. There is your first step, Ryonosuke. What do you mean?
We should investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure.
Indeed. Right here, what is happening right here, we're building our relationship as a defendant and defense attorney. You trust us with all the information that you have, and we will trust you. And together, we shall make sure that you will escape from this. Yes, yes, thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Welcome, student, Mr. Naruto Esquire.
Alright then, we shall be going then, Naruto-san. You have a case to prepare for.
Indeed we are. Alrighty then. Well, there's that. Actually, we don't really have much to present, but... Yes! Yes! The symbol of one of our great empire's first-rate lawyers! Which means, of course, you stand by my side. You'll defend me. Well, that wasn't why I was showing it to you. Then why else would you show me that? Oops. Hindsight, that probably wasn't the best idea. Alright, calm down, calm your horses. We're gonna go right now. Let's not fool around anymore. Let's go to the scene of the crime and see what this place looks like. given that it's like in open area, it may be a little bit more difficult. So this is where it happened. Briar Road.
Ah! Look, Mr. Hardo. Look at the regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak.
Huh. William Robbins. Kennerson Brewery. That is their job, you know.
But Mr. Hardo, to see one with my own eyes. They are often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To real Bobby's helmet.
What? The helmet? You are fascinated in the helmets themselves, and not the actual members of Scotland Yard, the helmets?
Of course. I have to try one day.
Well, I hope your heady dreams come true. You would look adorable in one of them. What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Oh, Inspector Gregson.
Hello there, Gregson. Refilled your fries there? This is on a tourist trail, as I'm very sure you're well aware.
Yes, of course. We're here to investigate.
So you've been to the holding cells then? What do you make with a criminal?
He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect.
Yeah, indeed. Innocent till proven guilty, not the other way around. Well, we'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens. And the verdict's a foregone conclusion. The stone cold air of projection.
Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone cold air.
You know, like I do want to say, I like I like the way this guy looks. Like he is probably one of my favorite designs. Like recently, like he looks both serious and he also looks goofy in my eyes. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the neck. His neck is a lot more, like his neck is a lot thicker and such. I don't know. he does look goofy. Maybe it's because of the eyes as well. He looks he looks funny to me, and he's eating his fries there. But other than that, I don't like that this guy is jumping to conclusions. I kind of want him to be like a gumshoe in the sense that he also investigates and such as best as he can. Just so that, well, I guess it's because I want him part of our team as well, so that he can help us with the investigation. Because as is, he doesn't think much of it. He's jumping to conclusion that there's not much to investigate out of here, so chances are we're not going to be able to get much out of him if he's not trying that much. Or maybe we're going to get some stuff out of him. I guess we shall see. That makes it worse somehow. Alright, well, let's see. What can you tell us about the case? Without any of that stuff of, oh, it's useless and such, I want to know the details. It happened at around 5 in the evening, 2 days ago. Just there, on that open bit of pavement. 5 in the evening. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. Okay. From behind. Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in the hospital. I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all. And I suppose that means they have been able to take a statement from her, of course. Here's a map of the local area I want to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Thank you! It's our policy to give lawyers defending suspects the odd bit of information to go on. That is very good. Thank you. Thank you for going professional on us. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but...
Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept.
Okay. This is actually pretty important for me, because... you know... It is an open area. Like, we do have the streets, but... The culprit could have gone... between the buildings, either here, or on the opposite side. They could have escaped wherever they wanted. I love this song. Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countryman. So, who did it, do you think? Not much of a head-scratcher, is it? Is it? Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming to not have seen anyone else around. But...
Just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present.
I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure. Okay, do you have proof for that?
How?
Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. It... what? We have two very reliable witnesses, no less. Okay. Okay, so you're saying that there are witnesses. It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. There were witnesses now? And you're saying that it was because of fog? Okay. Can you tell us about these witnesses? Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife. And the man is one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He is a copper from Scotland Yard.
Ah.
A policeman? That might change things.
This policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked?
Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them bang in the act and all that. Do you think it might be possible first to ask that policeman a few questions? Well, be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow. I have no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So that will give something to look forward to. Well, that's it then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems. Oh well.
A policeman witnessed the incident. As a judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed.
And you know, from a story perspective, if we are to find out that there's something suspicious about the policeman, and that they were hiding something, that could be like a hint from the story. Well, not necessarily a hint, like a clue to a mystery or something like that, but more like a thematic foreshadowing for what may possibly be true about the security being the one responsible for some of the tampering of evidence in the last case. So there could be like thematic foreshadowing here, as I would call it. Or imagine if coincidence, the policeman witness right over here who's probably gonna be hiding some stuff has also had something to do with the last case that we had. Imagine that kind of coincidence. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? The person who led you to the suspect. I heard that was Mr. Sherlock Holmes. What the fuck did you just say? Why the hell are you bringing up his name? Was it something I said? The color has drained from his cheeks. Who did he hear that name from? Oh, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings.
She was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions.
So Sato, let's just calm here for a second. I don't think that Gregson wants to hear about this sort of stuff. Fiddle-faddle!
Uh,
The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Oh. I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime. Wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yeah, he is quite astounding, isn't he? Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. His astounding adventures. You know what people are whispering about lately? About me being number 2, to Sherlock Holmes as number 1? That I am the Luigi, to Sherlock Holmes who is Mario?
he is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he?
Oh, gibble gabble. He does a bunch of things here and there. And what do I have left? The Scotland Yard giving me missions like investigating mansions that are haunted. And what do I find? Nothing. Not a single ghost. You would think that I would have my own adventure, with ghost hunting at least, if not police investigating. But no, they couldn't even give me that.
Oh,
Ever seen this before? Oh, yeah. That's Ransty magazine.
the wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Holmes appears.
Susato? Yes, well, that wonderful publication is important. Says fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Holmes tale at all. Well, there is something to be said about that. As well, Gregson, I apologize for that. It is true that, from what I remember, sometimes Scotland Yard detectives were put on bad spotlights because of Sherlock Holmes, and Sherlock Holmes is one that is making fun of the detectives at times, from what I remember.
Well, I suppose there is an element of that.
We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be thumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals.
That can't really be true, can it, Inspector?
Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Okay. You know, speaking of Scotland Yard, how are you guys doing?
Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place.
The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, man.
Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet.
Yeah, it does make them look the part. Seeing the policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. No sense.
Ah, yes. Does he look wonderful?
Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you.
Oh, really?
First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes around and rouses all the laborers on his beat so they can get off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yup. Raps on their windows with a long pole. I did it myself, going back a bit.
I had no idea.
The Bobby works for the police of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the relegation distance. I can already imagine how far that is. That sounds like a long way. I mean, fuck. Like, never mind Beppo, who is riding the carriage, like, all day in a freezing winter. Imagine these guys. Oof.
Let me see. 20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama.
On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far. And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps.
Oh my.
Does this mean that the same person has to go back 20 miles? Like, and on the way they would put the lights on? I mean, that's basically like an entire day. Like, they start from point A at 5 o'clock, I guess. They do their 20 miles at 5 o'clock in the day, and they're like at point B, and it gets dark at that point. So they go back from point B to point A, but on the way they turn on the lights, like, because it gets dark on the way back. And by the time they go back to point A, it's morning again, so they do the same thing. Basically, they're just walking for the rest of their lives, just like that. No sleep, no eating. Oh, they can eat, like, while they're walking and such, but no sleep whatsoever. I suppose in between all those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well. I mean, imagine the legs that they have. They surely wouldn't be skipping like leg day, that's for sure. Man, imagine the amount of steps that you would do like that. I wish I could do like that many steps, like, well, like over 30k steps per day, I would assume? Like, I try to go for 10k steps whenever I go outside, which is like 2 or 3 times a week. Like, at least, like, at most.
And chase after criminals trying to evade the law.
I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly. More alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men killing over from time to time, I admit.
I know I dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Miss Naruto.
Well, I mean, you could always buy like a souvenir. Like, you could buy like some like that to wear it in your spare time. You don't have to become a Bobby yourself. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. Okay. That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. And you're going to defend him or not? Well, makes no difference to me, but I'll just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean. Correctamundo. There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It's a little bit strange, though. Sorry? The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in the court once for a good few years now.
Yeah. We did hear something to that effect.
And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals. The violent ones. Master criminals? Well, there is something to be questioned there when it comes to Zeke's... Which, by the way, when you isolate the name just Zeke's, it sounds less cool than if you were to say his name fully, like Baroque, Lord Baroque von Zeke's. But when you say it like Zeke's, it's It kind of reminds me of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, not gonna lie. But, yeah, when you think about the last case that we had, it kind of makes you question his motive for coming back to prosecution if he left for such a long time. And looking back on the case, it certainly makes you think that that case was important to him in the sense that, well, McGilded is a very high status was a very high status person. He must have had like huge connections. He was more than likely a a high priority criminal in Zeke's eyes. So he had to attend to this because it was important. Maybe there's some grand stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of yet. Reason why we're still going to continue the case in our spare time. But for this case, it kind of makes you question how important this case is for Zeke's to come here as well. Unless it's because of Ryunosuke, he wants to test Ryunosuke, but it's not like he was sure that Ryunosuke would actually take this case or not, so yeah, it kind of makes you question why he would take this case, but I guess we shall see.
The violent ones?
That's right. He handpicks the victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely. Or because he's racist, because, you know, Soseki is Japanese, so there's that. That's just my point, sunshine. Yeah, the young woman was stabbed, but I didn't kill her. Could even say the intent was there. So, this isn't the sort of case that I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's gotta be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest.
Really? What sort of reason, Inspector?
You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You bet your ass I'm gonna keep my distance from that guy. You have to ask him yourself. If you dare. Are you really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it. With black magic! Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective.
Miss No, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, sure. What is it?
Well, he says to me that we must speak with him about this.
By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Exactly.
Look at those shining eyes. You cannot wait, can you? Well, I cannot wait, either. Oh, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all this, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? Fuck no! I hope not! I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. Although it is partly that.
The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address either.
It's Baker Street.
Baker Street! How do you know that? The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, motherfucker!
It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street. The most famous address in the world.
Baker Street! Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. Alright, let's go! Let's go on our train of Herlock Sholmes' adventures. Baker Street! Choo-choo! We better try to find our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable.
Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage.
So, we're to have a reunion already. With the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Okay, well, before that though, can we examine the crime scene? This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred.
Yeah, it's very wide, open space, isn't it?
That's true. I cannot sense anywhere an attacker could have been hiding. And, well, there is a lamp near it. There would be light. Oi! What are you foreigners doing here?
Ah.
Oh, we're just investigating. Conspiring with that mustache fellow from Japan, are you? Conspiring? Excuse me? Come here to destroy evidence, have you? Get out before I give you an aid. Go on. Why are you old?
You shoot us away like rats.
Blech. Yeah. I should give him a wide berth, I think.
What a disappointing experience.
Okay. Well, I guess what this tells us is that we're gonna be investigating that later, and there may be some important clues there. It's just that we're not gonna be getting that evidence yet, whatever that clue is.
What a delightful snowman.
I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. It looks a little creepy though. Yeah, you know, it kind of makes you think. Like, during this period, there's no internet. We don't share our traditions with the outside world and such that much. I mean, granted, it could be that this tradition of making snowmen. Actually, I don't even know what the origins of that is. Like, when did it all start with creating snowmen? Like, where it started and all that. But the point is, it's very nice that while the Japanese and the English have their differences when it comes to laws and such, there are some common things that we certainly enjoy doing, including creating snowmen.
No, he has a scarf. Look.
You didn't want if you were out in this freezing cold all this time. I wish I had one.
I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment too. We certainly cannot afford a scarf.
Surely there's no man here who wouldn't miss his.
But the person who made the snowman certainly would.
Yeah, you're right. Even if I borrowed it, it won't do much to warm my neck with it. It's covered in snow, too. Oh boy.
Oh, that's a Scotland Yard carriage. He used vehicles like that to rush to crime scenes and cart away criminals.
You're very well informed, aren't you?
It's long been a dream of mine to ride one of those through the streets of London.
No. Just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows then.
But that would mean being arrested in order to ride it. Wouldn't it? Still, if it's the only way, help me find a good stone.
Hold on. Hold your stone there. Let's not get you suspected for thief-related crimes like Maya. Okay. Strand Street. That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it?
That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? It sure has a long and interesting history.
Oh, Panzer seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks in decisively worse shape than the other houses around here.
We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible.
Yeah, you're right. Cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. Well, there could be one place. And that place would have to be... Champs de Sud. Baker Street. Alright, let's go.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Shores.
Oh!